back with Bobby and JJ Radio. We just had a great interview with Elizabeth Reed. She talked about business owners and the immigration laws and how they can help business owners all over from all different kinds of countries. If you missed any of that, you don't have to cry. You go to bobbyandjjradio.com. You can be a fan of the show. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We will be on SoundCloud on Mondays. And if you want to see these beautiful ladies, they will be on YouTube in a couple weeks. Our next guest is Anne Ohlrich. But how you doing, Anne?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool that we get to get a little bit outside of real estate and the regular finance stuff, and it kind of sparks my interest. So I'm really happy to have you guys here. So Anne, who can petition to be a citizen?
Well, anyone who's been a resident for at least 5 years can petition to be a citizen of the United States. Now, there's an exception. If you are the spouse of a U.S. citizen and you have been resident for 3 years, then you can actually kind of jump the line. And so you can apply for naturalization at that time.
Great.
And what's the typical wait line, the wait time?
Right now, we're seeing about 4 to 5 months from the time we actually submit the forms, the petition itself, to the time we have the interview at immigration with an officer.
It's kind of funny is we're talking about the test that they have to take in the green room,
and I failed miserably.
JJ failed. I mean, he had to study it when he got here to the United States, but all this stuff was common knowledge. No, it's really tough.
It is tough.
You have to study, even as an American citizen. You have to study.
Yeah. As far as the spouse, you said the spouse can jump the line if they're 3 years. What if they've been here illegally, though?
Well, now that depends on how they entered. You know, when it comes to a petitioning for a family member, let's say that you are a U.S. citizen and you want to petition for a brother or a sister, you can do so. There's a wait time, but you can do so. Spouses will come first, essentially, but you can also petition for a child or your parents, any of these things.
Sure.
Now, should your spouse have entered illegally? Now, that means crossing the river or the desert. There is a provision now called the 601A waiver, where we can actually ask forgiveness for that action. Those individuals will have to return to their home country before they receive their residency card.
So they got to go back, and then
they do have to go back.
I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Once you go back, they ain't letting you back.
Well, but that's the glory of the 601A waiver. When they actually enacted this back in 2013, it gave us a way to ask permission first, so we knew we were getting them back across. The thing is that marriage fraud is very serious.
Yeah.
And it can actually be not just bar the immigrant, the intending immigrant, for life from ever receiving any type of visa in the future. The American citizen themselves can be charged with a crime because it is criminal fraud against the U.S. government.
What happens to the American citizen?
Well, it's whatever the government chooses
Death?
to.
Is it death?
It is not death.
And what if your family member that you're petitioning has committed a crime?
Well, now then it depends on what type of crime.
Okay.
So there are certain waivers that are available. Even for some felonies, not guaranteeing that they're going to be granted, but there are waivers or forgiveness that you can ask for from the U.S. government.
Sure.
The two permanent bars to any sort of immigration benefit are a false claim to U.S. citizenship, and that's on either in front of an officer or, for example, when they filled out an employment form, like 99. If they checked that box, that will be held against them, and that's a permanent bar. Now, the second bar is a conviction for narcotics other than marijuana. And there's no forgiveness. It doesn't matter, well, I was holding it for my friend or somebody left in my car. They don't care. If you were convicted, you're done.
What about murder?
Actually, there's a waiver. It's not necessarily granted, but there is a waiver. It's called a 2A1 it's a 601 waiver. The actual ineligibility is for a crime of moral turpitude, and a lot of it falls in there. Murder, rape, burglary.
So the two biggest things are the false claims and the narcotics. Those are the two biggest things.
Those are the two biggest things and the two only things.
Those are the two only things. Okay.
Now,
everything else is on a judgment basis. They're going to take into consideration everything that you guys have put together as a case.
Correct.
And then they're going to either say yay or nay.
That's correct.
So those are the two big ones. Okay.
Now, in asking for those waivers, though, you have to show extreme hardship. And extreme hardship is extreme. It's not just, well, my wife doesn't want to move to Mexico, or, but I'll really miss them.
Yeah.
That does not qualify. It has to be extreme hardship, such as medical, some sort of financial difficulty combined with the medical issues.
Sure.
There's a lot of different factors.
Gotcha. So what is the DOMA?
The DOMA is the Defense of Marriage Act. And what's unique, what we've seen in the last year and a half, is that this has opened the doors for fiancé and immigrant petitions to those individuals, to the LGBT community.
Sure.
Okay, so even though here in Texas we don't recognize same-sex marriage,
right,
if a couple is legally married in another state of the United States, we can actually file an immigrant petition on their behalf.
Wow. So what is naturalization, and when can someone get naturalized?
Naturalization is when you're actually applying to be a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
And that's that 3 years if you're married to a U.S. citizen, or 5 years if you've been legally present. You have to have not had any convictions in those 5 years. Traffic tickets do not count.
Right.
Pay your taxes. Be a good moral character.
Right.
And then you study your civics exam.
To get a hold of Anne, you can email her at Anne at TEXOhlrich, which is OHLRICH. Again, that's OHLRICH.com. So Anne at TEXOhlrich.com. Or you can check out her website at TEXOhlrich.com, or get a hold of her directly at 210-265-1062. Again, that's 210-265-1062.